How do you know God's will and God's direction on the mission field?
Oh, Steve, that opens up quite a subject of knowing God's will. And it would be nice if every time we'd hear a voice booming from heaven, but it doesn't always happen that way. I think it would be best to answer this by telling a story. I had been on a short-term trip. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. We almost died twice before we got to Costa Rica. But a number of years later, the leader did everything right. It was really good. We went to Ecuador. But then the leader took us on the way down, stopped at several different locations, and on the way back, several different mission locations to give us a greater perspective of what's going on in the mission world. Well, on the way back, we stopped at a mission group that had a school. And being an educator, I went and talked with the principal. And he says, I could use you down here. And I talked with my wife, who also happened to be on that trip. And we thought about it. Yeah, this sounds like something we could do. No booming voice, what I would call sanctified common sense. This is something we could do, and I was available. So he said, well, fill out the application. If God wants you to do it, come on down. And so we filled out the application, and the day that they were going to decide, as they looked at their student-teacher ratio around the world at all the different schools, I called them up. It was a long weekend. We were ready to go on a vacation. My wife was in the car. Trailer was hitched up. The 4 kids were in the car. And I went to a service station payphone. They used to have payphones at service stations in the little phone booths. And I called them, and they started hem-hawing around. I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? You find my picture on the post office wall or what? No, it's okay. You can go to Colombia if you want to. But as we look over the whole schedule, you're more needed in Peru than in Colombia. I leaned out the door and I hollered at Yvonne. The door, her car door was open. I said, hey, Yvonne, they want us to go to Peru instead of Colombia. What do you think? She shrugged her shoulders, and I went back to the phone. I said, yeah, we'll go to Peru. Again, being allowed to be directed by the mission agency. No booming voice, but we believed that it was God's will. And so off to Peru we went.